All right, so you've decided kind of who you're going to be pulling together, and you've thought about what kind of questions or topics that you're going to be focused on. And now let's talk about how do we introduce this. Again, there may be people that this is a new thing for, so I sometimes even just starting with a story or a testimony to encourage them that something that maybe there's been a time where you prayed and God really spoke to your heart and it had a positive impact in your life. And so being able to even explain to them that, man, this is something that I do on a regular basis, which I hope you do, and the positive impact that it's made in your life. Now, God has maybe told you to do some really hard stuff, and it's not always been easy, but man, as we've followed God for decades, I've just seen over and over again, I'm like, man, I'm so grateful I listened to Jesus and did what he said, because he spared me from this and this and this and this, and I could not have even imagined the scenarios that I was saved from because I obeyed God and because I waited on him, and I didn't just do what made sense to me, but I actually sought him in detail. And I'm telling you, we could just testimony after testimony of the times where we saw a year, 2, 3 years later, like, oh my gosh, we didn't even know that we had avoided a whole situation because we prayed and we waited on God. So I want to encourage you, just the benefits of doing this, which you already know from other videos, but just even in regards to the time that's saved, like prayer is work. Like it saves countless hours, days, years, can be saved through waiting on the Lord, because you are going to be saved from doing the good things that you may have done to be doing the God things that he is speaking to you and telling you to do. And I'm just telling you, it will save you time. The hours you'll spend listening and waiting and abiding with God is like compounded the number of hours and days and years that you spent toiling and doing good ideas and man ideas that ultimately will have no effect in heaven. As you introduce this idea of hearing God in a way that helps your group feel comfortable about this, and there's a sense of excitement, anticipation that God's going to speak, you want to be aware of there's different language that you can use that will either disarm people and maybe not put them at edge. And then there's maybe terms that certain traditions or certain groups have used that will put others on edge. So I find just a couple of suggestions, depending on your context, to say that we're going to spend time listening to the Lord together. You know, that again may be something that's like, oh, okay, that's maybe not what I've done before, but I'm willing to give that a shot. Another one is we're going to sit and pray, and we're going to discern together what the Lord might be saying to us. Again, that might be another way to say it. Some groups have called it waiting on the Lord. Again, I often refer to it as just listening prayer, that we're just going to take time. And these are traditions that have been in church history. And so this isn't like an unusual thing in the context of the Bible, certainly, but then even in church history. But there are different places and different times where this has not been as popular. And so this is something that I believe God intends for us to be doing. And so again, include the Bible in your listening time, whether you're going to actually like read a scripture to start and even focus on God speaking to people in the Bible, or God's going to actually give you scriptures, which you should be doing. And so as we come together, we're preparing people that we're going to have a time of listening, and we want to encourage them to have their Bible ready and expect that God is going to confirm what he's speaking by his Spirit with the written word that we can confidently say is the Lord, while we're figuring out what we're discerning and what we're sensing should always align with the Bible.